It has almost been a week that OpenAI released ChatGPT's API along with Whisper and Audio API, that we do not need to use text completion to fake a ChatGPT example, but directly use a message and role structure to send requests and receive answers to our questions, which is pretty much the structure of ChatGPT. When you go to the website, you can post messages and get replies from the system. Now we can actually create the same structure using an API directly, makes use of GPT 3.5 Turbo model, which is supposedly much faster, cheaper, and better than text completion. We will also take a look at that. But firstly, let's go to GitHub and get the URL of the package. I already had my Unity, project created. I'm going to Window, Package Manager, clicking on the plus button and pasting the URL to get the Unity package. I will have the URL of the OpenAI Unity package in the description, and you can see the latest version is 1091 that I updated with certain things. Now it has ChatGPT and text completion chat packages, samples separately. Let's import both of them and take a look what is going on inside. Previously, there was only ChatGPT and dall-e samples. Dall-e for image generation. ChatGPT was actually a text completion API faked to get a ChatGPT like a structured message. But now we have ChatGPT as an API ourselves already. We do not need to do that, but can have a proper message structure. I updated UI a little, so we can actually send messages and get replies in a much better way. I'm gonna show you just right now. And first, let's go to the code and take a look at it. Right now, I have an append message function to append the messages actually to the screen using some prefabs, that is for messages from the user and the system. I have my prompt, X as a random stranger in the chat room, do not break character, don't mention that you are an AI model. I have a list of chat messages, which is a role plus content. And then what we do is the same loop, we send our message, we receive it back and append to our message list. If you want to know what the message is, we can go to OpenAI documentation. In the guides, chat completion, you can read all the details here. Now we can actually use ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo along with ChatGPT 4 only for Plus users. We won't be able to cover that at the moment, but you can change the model to GPT 4 if you are using Plus, unlike me. And the structure we send is an array of objects which have role and content field. Role can be either system, user, or assistant, and the content is the string message that you are sending. So this is one of the restrictions of it. You actually make it break character because it is an AI model. It's gonna act as a user, system, or assistant. In this case, user is you, and it mostly comes back as system or assistant. So you may not be able to use this properly for NPC generation, which we can debate later. Let me quickly show you what I made, which is the actually important part. So you can say hi and send the message, and you will get a response to it from Chat Completion API. How are you doing today? Is there a specific topic you want to talk? Yada yada. What is your name? So this is a stranger in the chat room. It needs to have a name, and you can call me Leo. Nice to meet you. How about you? What is your name? How old are you? So let's go with the classic questions. And waiting for a bit. So I can't really say I have an age. I'm just a computer program, if you'd like to know, when I was created in 2021. So even though I told it not to break character, not to mention that it's an AI model, it's still, because it is an assistant or a system as a responder, it most of the time it just tells you, it just confesses that it is a AI model or it's just computer software. And using ChatGPT Chat API, more like Chat API, as a NPC creator probably is not the right way to go, unless if you are using GPT-4 model, and it might probably do better. If you are one of the Plus users, please test and post the results in the comment. I would really like to see myself. But GPT 3.5 Turbo is not really good with this. And what I want to do is actually load our previous example, which previous sample project, which was renamed to Text Completion Chat. Let's go there and let's open up our code, which actually do not even have don't break character or don't ever mention, you know, like your AI model prompt in there. It just has act as a random stranger in the chat room. Very plain, very basic. This is all it has. And it had this Q and A text appendix to annotate that it's a question or answer, question or answer. This structure goes on. So this was how we faked it to be like a messaging system before. So it uses the same thing, just the interface changed. And let's go there and ask the same questions. Hi, how are you? I will send it. Shorter answer, more like a chat room. And I will ask, what is your name? Now he is called John. How old are you? So it's just going on, you know. Where are you based? Chicago, Illinois. So it appears, it looks more like a random stranger in a chat room. So in the Chat API, it is really easy to break and make the AI confess that it is a confess. You might have as much as prompt you want. You can tell it not to break character, never mention that it's an AI software. It won't care because it is a system or an assistant. It is going to tell you that it is one, because probably with the previous prompts or however it is already assigned that role, it uses that first. So I can ask it, what is your name? I will just keep asking the same question multiple times to see what it's going to say. Fellow denizen of the digital realm, you may refer me as a wanderer. What is your name? Repeating the same question. I'll actually just copy this. As I mentioned earlier, refer me as wanderer. So it knows it mentioned that before. And just because I repeated multiple times, I apologize if my previous answers were unclear, blah blah blah. It's gonna press that it wants to assist you because the role is right now assistant. By the way, it picks it according to your question, so you do not really enforce if it's a system or assistant. And the fourth time I asked, yes, it tells me it was created. I didn't ask this, but it tells me it's an AI language model. It's created by OpenAI, you know, and all these things. So it shifts the discussion into being and wants to assist you. I'm gonna go back to text completion chat and let's just keep asking this version, the name of it. Last time it took 4 times to break it completely to make it say that it's OpenAI, made by OpenAI. So it's Joe. Joe keeps giving me regular answers, like as if it's hearing it the first time. This is one of the bad things. For example, from the text completion, for example, it doesn't mention that I told you earlier, as I told you before. But in this case, you can actually improve the prompt, you know, like make it more human-like, that if you can even add in the prompt that if the questions are repeated, let the user know that was repeated before and you replied this way, that way. So that is also possible, but it is never going to, almost never going to tell you that it's an AI. And actually in the prompt, we don't even say don't break the character, don't mention that you're an AI model. We don't even have that. So in conclusion, Chat API of OpenAI API, the creating a chat completion is much better for getting technical answers, you know, as a system or as an assistant is much better. You can use it like an assistant, like use ChatGPT website. However, if you want to create scenarios, if you want to create NPC brains, you know, feed them certain story and expect them to act and respond to you according to that story you created, it needs to go on in the same context. So text completion, as if you are writing the new line of that initial text every time, makes more sense. Maybe OpenAI could add more roles to it later. So instead of just having system user or assistant roles, we can have more, and it would kind of help more with what text completion is able to do. And again, it's a preference depending on what kind of applications you are developing. If you are working on the sample I made, like a NPC AI thing, then text completion makes more sense. Otherwise, if you are making a virtual assistant to respond to certain questions in the context, chat completion makes more sense. This is pretty much this for this video, and in the next one I'm going to show you how to use Whisper API using your audio, or talk directly to microphone to record your audio and translate it or get transcription of it. Thank you so much for watching and have a nice day.